Hello, friends. We're talking about a really serious, subject tonight. Our voices and our permission, our um, our rights as humans to engage in conversation with other people of any race. Do you have the right to engage or not engage or answer or not answer, um, stop or not stop when it comes down to people of other races? Um, if you're in their neighborhood, if you're in a neighborhood that you don't live in, do you have the right to answer why you're in that neighborhood for just a random person on the street that lives in that neighborhood? Do you have the right to not answer them? Do you have the right to not respond to what is being said to you, what is being asked of you? Um, the Armaud Arbery case is bothering me, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because they're trying to paint this picture of these two men, father and son, who are, protecting their neighbor's property without him asking them to, of course. Um, so they have a right, and it's coming across as if they're saying they have a right to question and get in response to black people, or you know black people in their neighborhoods. And my question is tonight, why do I have to answer any questions from you coming out of your house, seeing me walk down the street or jog down the street for that fact? Why do I have to answer your questions? Why was Ahmad chased 2 trucks, turned around, came back, 2 trucks still following him? Because he wouldn't answer their questions. He had to die because he wouldn't answer 2 white men and a third man in a truck. So my question tonight is, why do white people feel that we have to stop and answer any questions that they may have of us because we're in a part of town that they don't feel we should be in? So I want you to sound off tonight and give me your responses to that question. Do you have to answer to anyone in anyone's neighborhood of why you're there, why you're jogging, why you're checking out an empty house that's being built? Do you have to answer them? If it's not their property, do you have to answer them? It's funny how white people feel that because he ran and because he turned around and looked at them, now mind you, they're chasing him, they're cornering him, they got him pinned in. 2 men he don't know, and a third following him far behind with a camera. And two have one has a rifle and the other one has a gun. Does he have the right to act funny, act weird? Does he have the right to Be scared of who's asking him questions and who's chasing him with a rifle? Would you answer someone that was doing that to you? Would you be scared? Would you be fearful? Would you go into panic? Would you go? I mean, this case is bothering me because I personally saw a hunting, like they were hunting him, and it didn't sit well with me. And watching the case unfold is giving me hives watching it because he's very careful with his answers and he's trying his best. It's crazy how they allow him to go back on his own notes instead of not using a paper to answer questions. That's funny to me. Why can't you remember what you said? Why do he keep having to refer back to notes? I mean, that you're actually reading in court and you're testifying, but you're able to read your own notes? How when we get to do that? I thought you're supposed to remember on the courts on the stand what it is you said. And I find that this case is going in a weird direction. So when I hear, the prosecutor asked him questions over and over again of, was he running away from you? How many times did he try to get away from you and you still followed him? You still cornered him. You still hemmed him in. And his answer was, well, he was acting funny. I didn't know if he was going to go around the other side of my truck and get in. Really, bitch? You thought he was going to go into your truck and get in? Get in the. You thought he was going to get into the truck of a man who had a rifle and a gun. Make it make sense, people. Hello, Andrea.
Hey,
How you doing, sis?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I've been watching this
Excellent.
Ahmaud Arbery case on Court TV, and let's just shout out the fact that little Kyle got off.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we all knew that. You know, when you got the judge, rooting for you and your personal cheerleader, you got it.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but this
I
Ahmaud,
wasn't surprised.
no, not at all. But this Ahmaud Arbery case, you know, I keep hearing them say, well, I felt like he was acting funny. I felt like he was moving funny and he
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't answer my questions.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I hear that word, he wouldn't answer my questions. Really?
And who the
What
hell are
what
you?
makes you qualified or what validates you that
Yeah,
I should answer any questions of yours? I don't know you, you don't know me, but you want me to stop and answer your questions because I'm jogging?
yeah. Well,
I'm
they
coming from
already
an
have this entitlement,
mhm.
um, and of course it stems back from whatever from slavery time.
Yeah.
Black people were not allowed to do anything without the
Mhm.
permission of, right?
Right.
So these people actually still believe that someone has to give them, that they need to give someone who is of color
Mhm.
or that they deem suspicious their permission to be in a neighborhood.
Right.
What I saw was a young man jogging. He wasn't taking off like a bat out of hell. He was just jogging. He looked like he was just straight jogging.
And
So,
technically he could have lost him if he really wanted to.
right. Oh, you mean once
Um
they started to chase him? Well, of
yeah.
course. I mean, the someone's chasing you, you're gonna obviously not just be, doing a light jog. But do you remember that they claimed that when they saw him
Hey
leaving
Dre.
the
Hey,
neighborhood, he was took off like a bat out of hell or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, that's not what I saw. I mean, it seemed like he was just kind of like in chill mode, doing a regular run.
yeah, yeah. He wasn't. I don't think he knew what was going on until they just kept following him.
Mm.
And then when he realized that they were, trying to get him to stop, um, it seems like then fear sets in, which
I'm
is to me
sure.
normal.
Yeah.
Three men are chasing me in the pickup trucks with guns. Sounds
And
very
whether you knew
familiar.
they were armed or didn't know if they were armed, the reality is the vehicle in and of itself could be considered a lethal weapon
Right.
because they're basically cutting you off, practically running you off the road, and then at one point, what, running him into a ditch. So
Right.
yeah, whether he knew that they had firearms or not, he
Hmm.
had every right to be frightened.
And
And the
do you
thing,
feel like and this is the question that I want to ask you
sure,
guys, do you feel that he had the right not to answer them?
of course.
Why do you
What
feel
am
that?
I doing?
Why?
I'm minding my damn business. That's what I'm
Mhm.
doing. How about you do the same thing?
They're not cops. I mean, there's no sirens. There's no police cars. These are just regular people in a neighborhood that I'm jogging in that are asking me questions and, you know, chasing me till I answer their questions. That is so upsetting to me and disappointing to me and disheartening to me that they would think that I am going to stop and just answer your question because you want me to stop and answer your question. And because I don't stop, I'm acting funny. So now it's time for you to get out your guns.
You know, the Rittenhouse,
The
the Zimmerman
audacity.
case, those kinds of cases where these vigilantes have been able to go free, has put a battery in these idiots' back. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? So now they kind of feel like they can get away with this crap continuously, which is
right.
probably my biggest fear with the Ahmaud Arbery trial.
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest fear. It's I haven't been able to watch it. It's really very emotional for me.
Yeah,
It reminds me too much of Trayvon Martin, and I got very emotionally engrossed in that to the
yeah,
point of where literally for like a week I cried. I cried for a week after that trial,
yeah, me too.
and I said I can't. As much as you have compassion for the family, you have compassion for the young man. I
Mm-hmm.
can't allow myself to get that emotionally engrossed. So I've kind
Right.
of backed off of it because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm like pissed off, like literally just in a like really bad mood. The one time that I did watch it, so I said I'm not watching the trial anymore.
Right.
You
Dre,
know,
Dre, how do you feel about this subject? Have you been following the case, you and Tanika?
Which case?
The
mm,
Ahmaud Arbery case. It's on court TV right now,
mm,
and I'll give you what I've seen so far. And the son um is the one who ultimately shot um Ahmaud Arbery with his rifle. First, he lied and said that the gun was standing upward. He had the gun upward this way. But the coroner report says that the gun was pointed towards his torso.
but they
So
had
he
video.
got caught. Yeah, he got caught in a lie there on the stand. I don't know if everybody caught it because I caught it, but he keeps saying, well, he was acting funny because he wouldn't stop to answer our questions. We were trying to see why he was coming out of.
Yeah,
He wouldn't stop to answer our questions. Let's just focus on that part right there because that's what got me rowling right now. He wouldn't stop to answer my questions.
yeah, but the thing about it is the way these people think is that they think that this vigilante and taking the law into their own hands type stuff is something that they obligated to do. So
It seems like from birth.
yeah, and
Hunting
it,
niggas.
it's just I don't know what to say. I'm just so disgusted about this Kyle shit that it, it's like reruns of everything over and over again, and it just kick you back to reality. Like ain't nothing changed, and ain't nothing gonna change, and it's 2021.
Yeah, and it makes you feel defeated, when
It
you
do.
look at stuff for one victory, you got 5 other losses. Then there's another victory, and then there's 10 other losses.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I don't know.
Tanika, how do you feel
Yeah,
about that? You
I
know,
feel like white people feel like they're entitled to know everything that we're doing at all times. And if we look suspicious or if we're doing something that they deem that we're not supposed to be, they have a right to answer. It's this entitled
they
attitude. That's what it
are
is. It's
keepers.
entitlement. They're the keepers, they're the gatekeepers.
Hmm.
And why won't you answer my question? So because you won't answer my questions, you must be up to something. And it's
Hmm.
just that attitude. Um, I remember when I was running with my girlfriends, this is a few years ago, we were running opposite direction on the street when we go running at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And we're all, just running. All of a sudden, a car going the opposite direction stops. And this guy is going on and on telling us, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Get on the sidewalk. You get out of the street and everything. And we're just like, bro, we're not even obstructing the traffic. Why are you even worried? At 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, nobody's really out. Why are you worried about a group of women running the opposite direction? So, of course, me and, my mouth, of course, a few choice words and everything. And they're just two guys in a car going the opposite direction, just felt the need to tell us to get on the sidewalk, tell us to get out of the street. It's that whole attitude that
Hmm.
we are required to do what they tell us to do just because they are the higher authority over us. And this is the
So
reasons
they
why my
think.
ass got to get the hell out of out of America. I got to get out because I'm not answering nobody's fucking questions. I'm just not. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to answer your questions on what I'm doing and why I'm here. And like I don't need to answer anyone's questions about me occupying space. Period. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you Jesus Christ himself. I don't have to answer anyone's questions about me occupying space in any space that I'm in. If I'm there, I'm allowed to be there. I don't need to answer your questions. So that's my attitude towards it. But yeah, it's like Ahmad was out running. He stopped at this store, or I mean, sorry, at this house that was under constructions or whatever, or being built,
Right.
you know,
Nothing in it.
nothing else. Wasn't nothing
Nothing in.
taken or
Nothing in
anything
it.
like that. You know what I
Nothing in
mean?
it.
Nothing in the house, but they felt the need to have him answer questions and then hunt him down like an animal and shoot him
Because he
because he
wouldn't
was
answer questions.
running, because he wouldn't answer their questions. It's that entitled attitude, like, that angers me more than anything. This is why I didn't tune into Cal shit, and I didn't tune into the Arbery shit. I just don't. And I don't even know why they even call it the Ahmaud Arbery trial, because he's not on fucking trial. Those bastards are the ones that are on trial, but they put it under his name. Like he's
Right.
the one on trial. And that's what they do to us every single time. It's like they try to criminalize us, meaning black people, instead of criminalizing the white boys, the 3 white men that went after him. None of their names is mentioned when you go and this is just how they do us in general. When you look on TV,
Protection.
you see
Protection for the
Ahmaud
complexion for the
Arbery
protection.
trial. What?
Yeah.
Just yeah,
He's not
I
on
get
trial.
angry.
And how is he on trial and he's not here?
They
That's
do
what
it
I
every
want to know.
single time. They did it to Mike Brown. He had a troubled life before this, and they did it to Trayvon Martin. They did it to they do it to every single black person that gets killed. They go and dig up all of their shit and put them on trial instead of the actual person that shot them.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about the Kyle Rittenhouse bullshit is because, and I'm calling it bullshit because that's exactly what it was. We kind of knew what was going to happen. I'm not even surprised. I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't surprised by
Not
the
at
actual
all.
Not
verdict,
at all.
especially with the judge playing Trump's music as his he played Trump's music as his theme music on his cell phone, and it played in court. Like this, I'm
Wow.
clearly like I get so angry. You know what I'm saying? But it's like with Kyle, he went and created the danger. That was so important when the
Absolutely.
prosecuting attorney said it. He went and created the danger and then ran when the danger came for him. Like you went
Right.
there with an AR-15.
Mm-hmm.
2
Cross
states from
state
your home.
lines. Your
2
mom
states.
drove you there to a different state with an AR-15 and created the dangerous situation, and then want to cry and whine and talk about I was in danger. What? You went there with danger. You went there with a fucking loaded gun and
Right.
shot up 3 people, killed 2. And your
Right.
ass is gone. Like, come on, bruh. Like, I got to get the fuck out of the U.S. I got to get out. I can't. I can't. And it's like this continual cycle of the same shit over and over again. I don't know why we expect anything different because this is their shit. Their laws are provided to protect them, not to protect our black asses. Which is why I have an actual carrying license, but I don't even feel comfortable carrying a gun. You know what I mean? Like I don't even feel comfortable because that law wasn't meant for me. It wasn't meant for me to be able to carry an actual loaded gun, even though I have the license to carry. What was it? The guy, Philando Castro. He had a license for a gun. He told them, and they shot him. Like, no.
Black
Freddie
man, black
Gray
woman can't catch
died.
a break.
Freddie Gray died because he ran, because he looked suspicious.
Oh,
like we just got countless of this shit over and over again, and nothing is. I'm sorry to be a cynic, but I feel like nothing is gonna change. It's gonna continue on with the same thing until us, brown and black people, start doing exactly what the fuck they're doing, which is an eye for an eye. Like, nothing's gonna change. Nothing's gonna change. And we're too scared. We're not gonna do anything because we don't want to fuck up our livelihood. Don't get me started. Like, don't get me started.
Not even
Like,
just only that, but the judicial system is not equitable. You know what I'm saying? So Kyle gets away with it.
Absolutely.
How many brothers do you know that would get away with this? How many Kwame's do you think would have gotten away with that?
They wouldn't.
Kwame would be sitting behind bars the whole time during the trial.
Kwame wouldn't have made it to trial. They would have killed his ass. He wouldn't have made it to trial. They would have killed him.
Yeah, they definitely, but nobody would definitely be taking pictures with him and wanting to give him sandwiches and beer at, nightclubs and stuff. No.
They showed the picture of this punk ass motherfucker, when he leaving court in the back seat, just smiling and talking about, the justice system worked. Yes, it worked for your white ass. It did. And the jurors were the ones that made the comment. And so one of the jurors said, we got to support him. What? Like, this shit was, it was a show.
I'm gonna say this. After looking, when you see the people that's in play here, is when you look at that judge, those jurors, they sat across from that white boy and said that we're not finna ruin his life.
Mm-hmm.
The judge made sure of that.
Yep.
The judge
was a clown ass motherfucker himself.
Of that. The people that share the same thoughts and everything made sure that by raising a hell of a lot of money for his defense, first of all,
mm-hmm.
and then you got the support of
Trump,
of this whole Trump supporters, this whole Proud Boys thing, and it was a lot. It was just a whole lot that boy could have been convicted of, but
right. And he killed white people. But you know why those white people died? Because they were out there fighting for Black lives.
And you have a thing of right now those the clash of two different type of white people. Those were lower class white people. He was a higher class white people.
Yep.
That's gonna always until the time wean those people out, like that judge, you're gonna always get type of convictions and all that type of stuff out of his courtroom until he's gone, because his ideological thinking is gonna be of which we just saw. It's like it really don't have nothing to do with justice. It really got everything to do with
protecting white privilege and protecting
privilege. Exactly.
White supremacy.
They was not. That boy was facing life without parole. You think they was finna let that so-called patriotic bullshit that he did? Do you think they gonna punish him for that shit? Hell no.
The crazy part about it is, while that was going on, Julius Jones was fighting for his life.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
An innocent man
who hasn't committed a crime.
Who's
been in jail, who was scheduled to
for 20 years.
Executed.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the judge, at the 2 hours he was getting ready to be executed, overturned it, and now he gets to serve life in jail, and he hasn't committed a fucking crime.
Man, you got women in jail.
That did it has already admitted to it. Like, yo.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I just got my jury summons the other day, and I'm thinking they can't be serious.
Necessary. That's free labor. That's free labor that they get.
True. The prison industrial system, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. They can put that's the new slave. That's the new fucking slave right there. That's the new plantation right there. They make them work all day long and only for $2. Come on, bro.
So they're not gonna let him go after somebody's admitted to it?
They've turned it into life in prison.
Why? If
everybody has been on this case, bro. Kim Kardashian, as much as I'm not a fan of hers and shit, she been at the forefront, like a bunch of freaking celebrities, which is the reasons why I think he overturned it, because of all of the stress and the pressure that he got behind it.
Yeah.
But then, instead of exonerating this man and setting him free and giving him clemency, he gives him life. Turns it into, oh, okay, we're not going to kill you, but we'll let you die slowly behind bars for nothing. You didn't even commit the crime. Like,
White people, you gotta do better. Y'all fucking the world up.
They know exactly what the
For
fuck they're
real,
doing.
dude. Y'all are fucking
And
up.
as long as we are part of this system and shit, the shit is gonna continue to keep happening. We gotta wake the fuck up and do something. Period. Like
And
enough
white
with the
Omar,
talks. I'm tired of the conversations. Nah, we don't need to be conversating about nothing. We need to be in action. Everybody, black and brown
brother
people.
brother Mark,
Yo,
hey,
what's up?
we're getting a little passionate here. They just told me about this other young man.
Said Julius
And
Jones.
no,
What you know about
I'm with it. I want this conversation. I'm ready for the smoke tonight. If anybody come on here, I want them to
it? You want
understand
all the smoke.
this shit need to stop. Y'all need to stop expecting us to bow down to y'all's asses because we're not.
We continue to keep doing it though.
We're
Let's
not
keep it
going to
real.
bow down to white people because y'all got questions. Keep your fucking questions to yourself.
Keep
It's
in mind,
And
I'm
crazy
stop
though.
coming
Like you
in.
killing
think
my
about it.
babies, my sons. Stop killing them because they don't want to answer you. Why the fuck you think we tell them don't talk to strangers?
Which
There's
is
a
crazy.
reason we
Like,
say that shit.
yeah. I
And the
mean,
shit is getting
you know that
tired.
you remember the little young guy, you know what I'm saying? Like there's just countless of fucking cases. I get so damn tired of counting these. I forget them. It happens so much, guys. Like I forget. Remember the little boy who was, kind of autistic, walking home from, and he kept telling the cops they were stopping him because it was cold outside, and he kept telling them, the cops kept telling them to stop, and they end up, it's I know, causing some sort of asphyxiation or something like that, where he died. Do y'all remember that case?
Wasn't that about maybe a year ago? Wasn't it
Yeah, it
2020?
was just
Yeah.
this past year. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
That situation. I mean, he didn't have to answer their questions. He wasn't committing a crime. But this whole idea that just because I feel like you're a threat, I have to stop you to ask you what you're up to. Like they always think we planning the uprising. That's why when we gather and shit in certain areas, like too much, if too many people are gathered, they finna come and break that shit up. Like this shit is deep, man. It's deep. It's deep.
Brother Mark,
And it's sad because it continues to keep happening. Like we get so tired of seeing it. I get tired of seeing it.
yeah,
And I
I
get
mean,
tired of us not doing anything. There it is.
Brother Mark,
Yo,
I want to give you a moment to respond to what we're talking about, the Ahmaud Arbery case. And they're saying the shooters are saying that Ahmaud would not answer their questions, and he seemed to be acting funny when he was asked questions, and he seemed unstable. But there's guns in the truck, and there's two pickups and three white men cornering him, encasing around him, but acting funny. Why do they feel we have to answer anything at any time because they want answers? That's my question tonight. So I'm asking everyone to come and sound off because I believe that these videos will go into the future, and
mm,
they need to hear how uncomfortable and how fucked up they are sometimes, you know, 60% of the time when it comes down to black and brown people. I know they understand what the word entitled mean, but this is a very big entitlement that y'all feel that everything I do, I'm supposed to answer to you because you're white.
There it
I
is.
know this is gonna seem like a strange comparison, but why do
Man,
um why do women expect to get free drinks and to get into a club for free? Why?
I don't.
Well, usually it's because it's on the marquee
Because
that
they do.
oh,
Because they do.
Thank
Because they
you.
get it.
Thank you.
okay.
That's-
I haven't been out
so
to
I
the
Daytona.
can't
answer,
relate.
the answer to the question is
Hmm.
they do it because they can, and we allow it to be done.
Right.
Amen.
So that's it. It's nothing deeper than that.
We
See,
allow it.
this is the thing that I've been talking about.
Thank
It's
you.
been like my thing ever since I've been on the internet is getting black folks to get out for this delusion and illusion that this is their country.
Right. Ugh.
This is a white country. You just live here. You're a second and third class citizen. Now I know there's a lot of people smoking, in they TP smoking peace pipes, trying to claim like this is our country. They full of fucking shit.
Speak it.
That's why they don't want to do no DNA test. Oh, DNA test is fake. Yeah, because it's going to tell you your ass is African. So as long as we continue to be here, see this. I had a discussion with a friend of mine today, and we were talking about when the mob comes to your establishment and they ask you to provide, can they provide protection for your establishment? Are they asking you something or are they threatening you?
Yeah. It's threat.
Hmm.
It's a threat all day.
On the surface, they're asking. It's very
Yeah.
polite. They got on suits. They're talking to you respectfully, but their presence is a threat
Amen.
because
Say that shit.
everybody else understands this.
Right.
Don't ask for something that you don't have the ability to take.
Say
Wow.
that shit. Thank you.
When you go, this is the thing that I always tell black people about reparations. You think you're saying one thing when you say, "Oh, we want reparations," but the way it's being interpreted by other people is, "Well, we're not giving you reparations, so what are you going to do about it?"
Mm-hmm.
Take it.
And as long as they know you ain't going to do nothing except keep complaining about the
Amen.
fact that you ain't got it, then they don't give
Yep.
a fuck because they know that you're not a
Exactly.
threat. Don't you notice that the Italians have the mafia, whether they like it or not? The Jews have the Mossad, whether they like it or not. The Chinese have the triad, whether they like it or not. Because there's some Chinese people and Italians, whatever. Oh, we don't associate. Well, fuck them. You got a threat in your
Right.
nation. The Japanese got the Yakuza. Everybody has something in their nation that lets other people know, let me not fuck with these people because I might end up with a fucking Colombian necktie or something.
Right.
Where's our threat?
Hmm.
Black people is so in love with being liked by people.
Thank you. Ugh.
We care more about other people liking us than we do about economic, socioeconomic, and political power.
Right.
Everybody else puts that front. They don't give a shit how you feel about them as long as they
Say
got
it.
power.
Mm-hmm.
We care more about how, like, nobody wants to be called racist. Nobody wants to be, say that they discriminate. You know what our problem is? That we don't discriminate.
Mm.
That's our problem. Our problem is not being,
Amen.
discriminating. I wish that we were racist.
Me
Yeah,
too.
we're some of the
Why do we run away
misgiving
from that?
motherfuckers
Why do
in the
we run
world.
Right.
away from that?
Right.
I
Right.
wish that we don't. Our problem is we don't know how to be racist. That's why when I hear black people say black people are racist, I'm like, if we are terrible at it.
Horrible.
Terrible. Agree.
We need
Agree.
more
Say that.
classes.
Say that.
So the bottom line is, what's the end game? What is it that black people want going into the future out of America? How many black people can even answer that question?
None.
I
No,
don't want
I
nothing.
think so.
I
What's
don't
the
want
end
nothing
game?
from
I think some
America.
can.
I don't want
What's our
nothing.
end
Never
game?
have
I
wanted
don't want a
anything
motherfucking
from
thing.
America.
So are we going to be
Nothing.
here? Are we going to exist here? Because if we're going to live here, then how does that work? If we don't want nothing out of America, what are we doing in America?
My 5-year plan is to be overseas somewhere. That's where I'm
That's a
going to
good.
retire.
That's a good plan.
It's not going to be here. If I can help it, it will not be here.
That's a good
Shit. I'm
plan.
waiting. I'm honestly waiting for my son to be done with school, and that is our plan. We're gonna buy a tiny house and move to Ghana. Like, I'm not staying here. I'm not staying
See,
here.
that's a plan.
Mhm.
That's smart because you got an end game. Your end
Because
game
I
is to get the
can't
hell out of
continue
this
to live in
country.
this system, and I don't feel like this
Right,
system is going to change.
No.
So in
right.
order for
But
me
at
to not be
least
in this system, I got to move into a different one.
that's logical and it makes sense. But a lot of people aren't operating from a logical place.
Hmm.
Amen.
I call them militant integrationists.
Yep.
Right.
They want to guilt white people into equality.
Right,
Yeah, and you know what?
brother.
That's what this
You
And
what
killing
is
they're
it.
this what is
and
this shit that
they're
they got
tired of
out
hearing
now
that.
And
called
these motherfuckers don't feel no guilt. They
oh
don't feel shit.
critical race theory. That's
Race
the
theory, yeah.
new Negro stalling tactic. I'm going to guilt white people into accepting me as a first class citizen
Say
because
that.
we need to teach all the bad stuff that black people have to go through in these schools and let everybody know how bad it is for black. Are you fucking out of your mind?
I can't stand it when
Yeah,
people
it's
say we got to
actually
change the narrative. What the fuck? Why are we changing shit?
Why? First of all, who's going to give up power?
Right.
Who?
Right.
You want? I heard somebody say there was a meme. They said, "Oh, we not asking you if you're an ally. We expect you to dismantle the system of white supremacy." Why the fuck would you dismantle the system that you benefit from?
Amen.
Why would you
Amen.
even expect somebody to do that? That's retarded on your end. That you even thinking that somebody's going to abandon their own system, and for what? For
That they're
you?
benefiting from for you.
right.
Right.
So my question is, when are we going to get to the brain power to come up with the conclusion that we need to have a system of our own? When is that going to happen?
Right.
Or is
Amen.
that crazy talk?
Nah, that's not crazy
No,
talk.
it's not crazy talk. I think that a lot of people um I think there's more people that know that America's just all fucked up by now and there is no changing than there is people that believe that this shit's going to change. It may change in about 20 years, but it won't be in the before I turn 60, it won't be. I don't
Oh,
see it.
can I
You
can I
know,
can I touch on something?
those old people in power that still run the world, the old slave master sons and daughters, when they die off, and hopefully, our generation got, we've gotten some sense of, you know, where it should go, and those people moving to those places, me and my friend was talking yesterday, and he was saying that a lot of things that's going on is that we need to move into the jury room. We need to, when these things are being done, and these cases are being put up there, we need to be involved in that stuff. And a lot of times we don't want to do jury duty when our sons and daughters need it. Because I noticed in the Kyle Rittenhouse case, I think there was two black people on it, and then now here on Ahmaud Arbery's case, I think it's majority white people.
Yes,
And
one black juror.
right, but whenever there's a black person up there, it's not a room jury of his peers. It's a bunch of white people and maybe
We
one or two
live
black people.
in America.
Hmm.
Thank
So
you.
the
Bottom
rules don't apply
line.
to us, and we have to understand that and accept that and move the fuck on.
And can
I,
I say
I,
something? I
yeah, go
want to
ahead.
say
Yeah.
something on this Rittenhouse thing. Why are black people even talking about this? This is you
Yeah, I
ever heard
could
that
care less.
expression? You ever
I
heard
don't
that
know.
expression? You ever heard that expression? Sit this one out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
This is
ain't,
Let
one
it
you
me
don't
let
should
me
even
have
give
sit
you
out.
concern us.
let me give you some facts. First of all, no black people were shot,
Mm-mm,
Right.
and surprisingly, a lot of people think that black folks was involved in this. No black people was involved in this.
not one.
The
Yep.
guy that got shot and killed was a fucking mental patient.
And a
They
child
don't
molester.
and a child molester. They don't tell you that. Another thing
Mm,
is, and this is keep in mind, I don't give a shit about Kyle Rittenhouse, but I'm just being
me neither.
objective.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being an objective observer. This
Right.
guy, they try to make it seem that this guy was some white supremacist that came there to gun down black people. I don't know where they got that narrative from. if you look at the videos of this guy, when they showed what he was doing, he was cleaning graffiti off the walls and helping people handing out water and stuff. He got chased by those white dudes. They chased him down. He wasn't chasing it. Why? First of all, what are you chasing down a guy with a gun for?
Yeah, that was kind of a question. I was like, well, who would chase down somebody with a gun?
It's just, why are we even talking about? Because first of all, I said this. He's a white boy, so it doesn't matter. Like people say, do you think he's innocent or he's guilty? It doesn't matter anyway. He could have been 100% guilty, and he wasn't going to go to jail anyway.
Right.
That's what people need to get through their head. So talking about the minutia of this shit makes no sense. And and what they did with this case was they made it racial when it wasn't racial. Now you got to ask yourself, why did they do that?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it seem like they're trying to spark
and shit?
Yeah, they're trying to spark some type of reaction.
It works.
And that's why I've been telling black people from the beginning, why are y'all so fucking concerned about this white boy in this case? Because first of all, if you go by the law, he is not guilty. He is innocent by the law.
Right.
So what's the problem? Like you can say, like the issues that you might have with, well, why did he do this and why did he do that? That's not a legal issue.
Right. But I don't think that we care about, him getting off. We care about the fact that, and I think this is where it's bothering everybody, is that had that been one of us, would that have been given the same thing? I think that's why everybody is so irritated, because here it's like, DJ Khaled, another one. Here it is, another one getting off, and we know that those rules don't apply to us.
You know what irritates me? People just now coming to that conclusion.
Yeah,
this stuff doesn't irritate me.
Like, I'm going to tell you what disturbs me about
it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think the only thing that disturbs me about it is it gives those with that vision that they can kind of rule and brutalize without any consequence. It gives them more. It's like a battery in their back. Do you know what I'm saying? So this will continue to perpetuate that.
Yes. And I got news for you. That battery was already there. Now it's like supercharged.
Yeah.
it's so and, what and my question is, what are we going to do about it?
You know what?
I know what we should do.
Okay,
I'm asking
long
people,
term or short term, because
long term, short term, midterm, I don't care, whatever term you want to do. What is our intention in this country? And that's why, if you want the right answer, you got to ask the right question. And I always ask the right question when it comes to black leaders and representatives. And there's two questions that I always ask. I've been thrown out of forums for asking these two questions. You know what the two questions are?
What?
What is the black agenda? And what is the end game for black people in America? Those two questions will get you thrown out of any black forum. Absolutely. You know why? Because there is none.
Yep.
It's a perpetual misery merchant parade.
No plan.
Right. Well,
all we're going to do is get outraged until the next person dies, and then we're going to get outraged over that, then the next person's going to die, then we're going to get back. It's like a continuous hamster wheel of non-effectiveness.
Say that shit.
So basically, we have to act. So basically, we have to pretend or just pay them no attention until somebody else dies, and just let their families deal with their stuff. Well, I feel like, why are we getting upset with other people's stuff, especially when it's not an everyday occurrence? But I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep moving forward. I'm gonna keep, being blessed. I'm gonna keep doing what I do, and I'm gonna keep praying over my children. But I have, when it comes down to my voice with the Armaud Arbery case, that case bothered me just like George Floyd and Trayvon Martin, because I see that these people are deciding to put the law into their own hands and do what they feel is necessary to, thwart off evil black people that are doing something wrong. Nothing in his hand, by the way. Nothing fell out of his shorts, from the house that he ran out of. Um, None of that came into the minds of these men that were hunting him down. And then on top of that, this is the kicker with this case. The third man that was following them said that after he shot Ahmad, he stood over his body and said, "Fucking nigger." You know that they will not allow that in court, and they won't let that. Now they won't have the third man that was filming it. They won't allow him to testify so that the prosecutor can't ask him that particular question.
Are you shocked by that?
No, not at all. But it's
See, I want to get
irritating.
I want to get us to the point where this is not shocking,
It's
where we
irritating.
expect it and understand it. Because if we accept it and understand it, well, I won't say
Mhm.
accept it, but expect it and understand it,
Right.
then you can move properly. But if you're
Hmm.
getting frustrated, that means that you actually think that there's justice, that you think that there's supposed to be justice, and you're supposed to get a fair deal, and and things are supposed to be fair. That's the problem. That
Right.
type of thinking is the problem. You got to know what you got to read the room, which is black
Hmm.
people have a really difficult time reading the room for some reason.
You know what? I think people read what they want to see. You know,
Well, there's
I
a
can
price
tell
for
the
delusion.
temperature. I can tell the temperature of a room. A lot of us can tell the temperature of what's going on. You know, but you can also see down the road that, okay, this is going to be continuously a problem for our people. So we got to change the way we handle each one of these cases that come up, that strike us, that pierce us in a certain way, not only as brothers and sisters, but as parents. I have sons. Tanika has sons. Andrea, we all have sons, and we're always worried about, is my son going to be the next Aubrey? Is my son going to be the next George? Is my son going to be the next Trayvon? you know and
And that's a legitimate concern because there's no protection.
Khalif
Nobody's
no,
doing
Browder.
anything.
I have my son told me the one day. He said, I said, well, Jordan, why you don't go out and go and hang out and stuff. He said, them streets are not safe, mama. I don't trust them streets, not for nothing. I'm good where I am. At least I know I'm gonna come home. That's fucked up,
Yep.
because our
I want to
our
say
sons are being hunted
I
like
want
prey.
to I want to say this, and I really hope that everybody pays really close attention to what I'm about to say. On a socio-economic and political level, there is no we, there is no us, and there is no our.
Right.
Black people in this country are a bunch of scattered individuals, and the only thing that aligns us is just aesthetic similarities. We look the same. You can look at us and tell that we're black. That's
Right.
the only thing that aligns us. But on a socioeconomic and political level, we do not exist because we're not organized in any way, shape, or fashion.
Right.
So when I hear people say we, and us, and our, it's like, well, who are you talking about? Because that doesn't exist. Now, we can make it exist. We can actually make that tangible and concrete if we
Hmm.
want to. But how many people that we listen to, how many people that we put on these pedestals are actually talking about that and saying
Yeah.
that we need to do that? And if they are not saying that, then you got to question, why are they on that pedestal again?
Right.
Why are you listening to them? Why is what anything they have to say important if they're not dealing with the biggest issue that we got right now, and that's our disorganization? We can't do anything to these people because we're not organized.
Right.
And nobody's talking about being organized. And I'm not talking about some fucking voting. I'm not talking about jury duty. I'm not talking about any of that bullshit. I'm talking about real organization.
Right.
Because I don't see no Korean politicians. The Chinese don't have to take over a damn state. to have power in their community.
Right.
It's like the things that I hear people, black folks talking about just make no fucking sense.
Mm-hmm.
When are we going to start talking about organizing ourselves as a people? One thing that is a no-brainer. Why the fuck do black people have their money in Chase, Citibank, Bank of America, TD Bank, all of these
Fargo.
banks, and not in a fucking black bank?
Right.
It is
Amen.
anybody who's got a leadership role or anybody of influence in our community telling our people that they
Amen.
should do that.
Right.
Not one fucking person is doing it. That's why I don't pay no attention to none of these niggas. I don't respect none of them. None of these rich niggas, none of these celebrities, none of these entertainers. I don't respect anybody unless you're talking about black folks having their own.
Right.
And if you want to do it here in America, step number one is pooling our resources together here in America. I'm not for the America thing, but if you're gonna do it in America, that's step number one. And they ain't even doing that.
Right.
Which is why I
What
gotta
is
go.
what it you know, and so with all of what, and I agree with everyone and everything that everyone is saying. Um so going forward, and I want each one of you to give your, final thoughts on this or a final rant on this. Going forward, if you were to look out into the camera and say to anybody of the Caucasian race about your stance or your understanding of them and how they think, what would you say to them now? Especially concerning the cases of our young boys that are just getting hunted and preyed upon because they're taking the law into their own hands. What would you say to that shooter? That's what I want you to speak to right now. Talk to the shooter of that person who believes that you're supposed to stop and talk to them or I'll shoot you. Speak to that.
Who wants to go first? Because I just got through finished talking, so I don't want to dominate the conversation.
I mean, to wake up in this country and be fully woke and conscious, just like James Baldwin said, is to be waking up in a constant state of rage all the time. All the time. I feel that rage consistently all the time. And I have to manage it. Because,
Mhm.
we don't want to have that angry black woman syndrome and shit. But we really fucking need to be black and angry. Like, that's the reality of it. We're black. We need to be angry and shit. We're not angry enough.
Mhm.
Um, but if I was speaking to that shooter, I would pretty much say, I don't have to answer to your questions. You don't own me.
With a gun
I'm not.
pointed at you, pointed at your
Hell
stomach,
yeah.
you would tell him
Hell
that?
yeah. Hell yeah. I don't have to answer to anything. No. Just because you got a gun. Okay, this if it's my time to go, then it's my time to go. But I'm not answering to anybody's fucking questions about me occupying space in somewhere. The fuck I look like? No.
Yeah, as long as it ain't his house, his car, his property. Where I am is
Exactly.
none of your
I
business
don't
and
need
why
to
I'm
answer
here.
your questions. I don't need to answer your questions. You don't own me. It's that simple. And if I gotta
I mean,
go, or if I gotta die for feeling that way, which is something that I own this body. The fuck? I own this
Andrea,
body.
Andrea, talk to that shooter that believes that. Andrea,
Sorry, I was away from the computer. I'm so sorry.
that's okay.
Yeah.
I was asking, I wanted you to talk to the shooter, the Ahmaud Arbery shooter, about him feeling that anyone that's in their neighborhood has to stop and answer their questions no matter what.
Talk to them.
Yeah, talk to them and tell them your answer to them feeling that way.
I'm not saying anything. That's how much energy I feel that they deserve. None. You can't possibly be talking to me because I owe you nothing. So therefore, I'm going to keep going.
You have the God given right, just like they have, to walk away, turn around, go back in his freaking house with his gun, his truck, his father, and go sit they happy gun toting ass down. And I have the right to continue jogging down the street with nothing in my hands. Nothing. Also, the case, did you notice on the case? Well, maybe you haven't noticed, but there was three other visitors in the same house that were filmed. They said nothing, did nothing, went after them, nothing. But when Ahmad came out, they decided to take the law into their own hands. Why is that? It's because Ahmad was black. Ahmad was jogging in their neighborhood. They felt like because they had robberies or whatever was going on, it could have been their own freaking kids robbing robbing their neighbors and stuff like that. Because trust me, that does happen out in the suburbs, up in those communities. Their own kids do the just like our here in Milwaukee. We have a car theft problem. I don't think it's no white boys from the south side, from the north, west side over there coming over here. I know it's our kids, and there's certain things that they want to put on black kids because it's easier to believe that a black kid jogging in the neighborhood is up to no good than to think that the boy in your garage that you call son is not up to no good. It's easier. And they're in there planting bombs and making, come on, man. Mark, talk to that shooter.
I don't talk to white people about anything having to do with anything. I don't talk. I'm like what Andrea said. Um, I save my energy for black folks. I don't have nothing. And also, those guys are symptomatic of a bigger problem.
Yeah.
And unless you address the bigger problem, you're not going to address them. So
Hmm.
talking to them is meaningless.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah. They have in their mind already, the sense of entitlement, the sense that, this is what my father did. And he even admitted that on the stand that his father um wanted all the smoke. He felt like nobody deserved prison, that they should just die.
Mm.
So, and this man was a 30-year-old veteran cop, retired cop. And that begs to ask the question, that begs to, like, you're a 30-year-old cop and it was easy for you to shoot, or antagonize a black kid. So I can imagine what you were doing for 30 years on the force.
Latasha, the guy who killed Michael Brown is a millionaire. You know how? He had a GoFundMe and he made over $1 million on his GoFundMe and he retired. So there's no penalty for killing us. There's rewards.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Say that one more
Yep.
time. There is no. You know what? Can you post that whatever you just said? I just want that to go across the banner up here. There's no penalty for killing us. It's only reward. Wow. And when it's like that, how the hell do they expect us to walk around smiling and willing to just engage them?
I'm so over white folks, man.
Man, who you telling?
I've been over white folks since I was in my early 20s. I understand
Yep.
what this. It's like being mad at white folks is like being mad at a fucking black mamba snake for biting you or a scorpion.
Right.
Doesn't it seem kind of silly? Oh, that scorpion bit me. I can't believe. Can you believe this scorpion bit me?
Yep.
Right.
You believe
It's
this black mama steak is poisonous? It's like, how many times are we going to get outraged over the blatantly obvious?
Yeah.
The question becomes, what are we going to do about it?
Exactly.
It's
I'm gonna
always
keep.
been that. What are we going to
What are we
do
gonna do
about
about
it?
it?
Because complaining is what we do best.
We
Mhm.
do
We
a lot of
complain
that.
about it and talk about it, and this is wrong, this is fucked up, and blah, 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 blah. What do we intend to do about it?
And I've
What's
been
the
marching
goal?
since 1986. I'm tired.
Right.
Yeah, the marching got to
Mm.
stop. The marching
We
does.
actually was going to
Absolutely.
create a shoe called the Protester so we can make some money off this
You
marching.
need to monetize on that. You need to.
That ain't a bad idea, Mark.
I know. Because that seems like that's all we're gonna do. We're just gonna wear the
Mm-hmm.
soles off those other sneakers, so we might as
Where
well
the
create a
soles off
durable
the
sneaker.
shoes. For protesting. Let's do it. No. Oh my
And this is the
God.
reason. This is the
We
reason why
do it so much. It's so
when I hear
irritating.
this, when I hear this crap about a high value man, I just laugh.
Ugh, that's the
What the
most.
hell is that?
Exactly.
Right.
Could somebody show it and point it out to me so I can have a conversation with him?
Mhm.
That part.
High value. I swear to God, man.
If we don't go somewhere,
Yeah.
So easy for people to just repeat nonsense
Kevin.
without critically thinking about it. How
say
you
it.
gonna be a high value man and you don't have none the interests of your people in your in any way, shape, or form?
Thank you.
So high value, you know what high value man means? A rich nigga that ain't doing nothing but for anybody but himself. And
Say that.
that's high value.
Mm.
Wow. Never heard you put it. No, never
Yeah.
heard nobody admit that it's like that.
Thank
Never.
you for saying
If
that.
we had some
Thank
if
you.
we had some high value men, we wouldn't be in this situation to begin with.
Say that.
Right.
I'm dominant. Shut the fuck up, nigga.
That part.
I'm so tired of this bullshit, man. This the dominant alpha bullshit.
Say that.
You so
So,
fucking dominant that you can't even take control over your own fucking environment. You living under the
Mm.
socioeconomic and political framework of white men.
right.
How dominant are you, nigga? But you want to be dominant over your woman. So your dominance is in the bedroom. Outside of that, you just a fucking bitch like everybody else.
So you said you were gonna. You said you know
Say
what
that.
should be done. So what should be done other than? I mean,
What should be done?
yeah, because you were talking about what should be done.
Yeah. I'm in an organization called the BAIO, which stands for Black African Infrastructure Organization. It's a social network of Black people who
Thank you.
believe that we should have a nation of our own. We have chapters in every state in the United States and every country in Africa. So when people sign up, we know what state they're in or what country they're in, and we network within that state and within that country. Because the
Okay.
ultimate goal, first of all, the ultimate goal is to get the people who want to have something together. Because
Right.
there's no outlet, no
Man.
infrastructure for that to even happen right now because nobody's talking about it.
Right.
Right now, the hottest thing content-wise online is relationship stuff. And
Right.
black man versus black woman and high value man versus this and all this nonsense. Nobody's talking about socioeconomic and political power.
No.
Nobody's talking about controlling a piece of territory. Nobody's even discussing it. Nobody's saying that black folks should have their own anything, their own schools, their own banks, their own whatever, nothing.
Right.
All these people are doing is giving you blow by blow breakdowns on all of our collective ass kickings, and then patting themselves on the back for how brilliant they are for explaining it to you. And buy my DVD so I can tell you what the problem is and provide no solution to it. I'm going to put the whole weight of white supremacy in your lap and then say, "Good luck, nigga." Now go out. Now go out there. Go out there and homeschool or grow some tomatoes.
Madness.
We got to get people together to answer on Naturally's question. We got to get people of like mind together, and we have to build something amongst ourselves. And there's enough of us who want the same thing to get that shit done. So the first step for me is connecting with people of like mind. And if you ain't signed up with the BAIO, I suggest you do that. It's free. It's no membership fees. It's free.
I'm already there.
Yeah. That's a start.
Good.
Because the goal, that's short term. Short term is that. The long term goal, Black people need to have a base of operations, a seat of political, socioeconomic, and political power. To put it short, in layman's terms, we need our own Israel.
Okay.
And Israel is not in the United States of America.
No.
But Israel is the economic base, socioeconomic, and political base of Jewish people. And not every Jewish person is in Israel.
True.
Wow.
Plenty of Jews in America, plenty of Jews all over the world, but they acknowledge that as their base.
Right.
That's what Black people need.
Okay.
Yeah, we're like lost children. Like we're still in the wilderness wandering around.
And keep in mind, I want to be very clear on this. I'm talking about African Americans, African diasporans. I'm talking about people who come from the continent who are living in strange lands, foreign lands, and don't have a home. I'm not talking about, now we have, like the African countries, there's things that they have to do, obviously. But that's not who I'm talking about, because they already got a country. They already got governments. They already have military and all that other stuff. So they have the infrastructure. They just have to do what they got to do. We don't have that.
Okay.
So we need a voice. We need a socioeconomic and political base of operations as African diasporans, and we need to have it on the continent. Because for us to not have it on the continent, you're basically, and for anybody to challenge us not having it on the continent, you're basically saying that we're not who we are.
Okay.
And with every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Right.
And what you're getting now is, because we refuse to obtain power, and power is not something you ask for, power is something you take.
Right.
So we don't want to take power, and we don't want to take control of our socioeconomic and political destiny, then we will be perpetually under the thumb of the people that have it.
Right.
And we'll just be perpetually complaining, perpetually talk about, well, if it was a Black person, fill in the blank. I'm those conversations are dead to me. I don't have those anymore because I know what I'm dealing with.
Right.
There's no surprises.
Yeah.
I am not on the search for the great good white person. If there's a good white person, they can only be good for themselves. They ain't good for us.
Amen.
Right.
So more power to you. I mean, if there's a great good white person, I applaud you. What the fuck does that got to do with us?
Right.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Not a goddamn thing.
We have these discussions to, basically let people say what they feel, not necessarily that we want, them to fix anything right now or to come up with answers. But when you're at home, think about, the important stuff in these cases and these reasons why our children are being murdered and hunted as prey, as animals. and I keep saying this, as a parent, this is hard to hear. It's hard to deal with. It's hard to see one more child the same age as my son dead because he wouldn't answer a white man. And I implore you today that, you try to understand, when it's traumatizing, it's depressing. And anybody with a son, even with the young lady that was shot in her house, and daughter, you have to worry now about your children in a way to where it's when you see them walk out the door, you don't know if they're coming back, and that's hard. That's really hard. So have these discussions, you guys, and let's find the answers individually as well as collectively, because I'm not a rallier. I'm not a protester. Those days are over with. I'm not getting out in the streets in the cold of Milwaukee and protesting nothing in Kenosha.
I
Um,
have a suggestion.
mhm,
I think this is something that the average black person can do,
mhm,
so that they don't feel like they have no power.
uh-huh,
Whoever you're listening to for knowledge, whoever you're listening to for wisdom, whoever you look to for guidance, this mainstream talking head or whatever,
mhm.
every black person should be asking that person, should we have a nation of our own?
Yeah. And you know what, Mark? I believe that everyone feels that way. Kanye, as strange as he is, Kanye feels that way. That's why he's trying to buy up half of Wyoming, and put towns and apartments. He's trying to buy so much. He bought so much property that he's trying to make that whole town about his property, his people, the people that are with him in his projects and apartments and houses. He bought that for that particular reason. So there's people that are on the right track with it, but some want to stay here. I don't think I think that wherever we try to inhabit just making it about us, I believe that they're going to come and try to put their stamp on it. They're going to find a way to make it something you have to answer to them for. So for that reason, I wouldn't go to Wyoming to stay. I wouldn't go to Gaylana to stay. I wouldn't go, it's a lot of places where predominantly black people live, beautiful places. New York is one of them. North Carolina is another place. There's a lot of places where predominantly black people live, and they do a lot of the political work, the neighborhood work, the policing, and things of that nature. But do I want a world to where I'm, just I got certain places to pick from. I want to be able to live where I want to live and not be in fear that my son can't go to the store and come right back without having to answer somebody that feels that he looks suspicious, or that he looks like somebody that would do some. It's enough of it. It's enough. It's tiring. Because it makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to y'all why this is happening to our sons. And we all know it makes no sense. But
I put
I'm
the
moving
link up.
forward. I won't be here. I don't plan to be in America. I've given up on America. I'll put that out there. I've given up on America. I'll say it.
I put
I
the
don't
link
think
in the group
nothing
for
that we
you.
do here is going to matter. Nothing.
I put the link up if you want to put it on the screen.
Okay. Got you.
For anybody that wants to sign up, it's free. Like I said, if we can, and that's another thing. If we can sign up to Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and
Mhm.
Snapchat and whatever, then we can sign up to a free thing that actually is for your people.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
I have to go
sign
The
up.
look
BAIO. It's in the on the banner on the
in the
TikTok
chat.
on the
Oh,
banner there.
And we
And
don't take no money from black people.
right,
We're not trying to make money off of black people. What we're
it's
trying
not
to
a
do is
paid
get black people.
organization. Right.
We're trying to get black people to give their time and their energy because that's more important than the money.
Hmm. Yeah, we need problem solvers. We need leaders that know exactly what the agenda is and what the assignment is and his own assignment. You know, it may not be my calling to be out there and rally or protest or just to organize some stuff, but I guarantee you I'll do my part in whatever that is, because if it has anything to do with the BAIO, I'm there because I know what they're trying to do. I know the temperature of what they're trying to do in there. And it's some very intelligent people in this organization that we all can learn from going forward, and what we need to look out for, what we need to pay attention to, what we need to put our energy in. The BAIO will help you with that. And I'm going to close up. Thank you guys for showing up and giving your opinions and giving your thoughts on this subject. Um, you know, I got triggered watching the case, and I stopped watching Kyle Rittenhouse's case, a couple when he started crying on the stand. I was done at that point. Godfrey does a good impression of him if you want to check that out on YouTube. Um, but this other case, Ahmaud Arbery, before George Floyd was killed, Ahmaud was on my spirit. This bothered me so much how they did him. So that's the reason why I felt the need to speak on it and bring it up,
I was.
because
I'll say this as a runner that runs
mhm,
early in the morning.
mhm,
It had me paralyzed. I ain't even gonna front. It's sad,
yeah,
but it did. It had me paralyzed for a while. Like I stopped running because
wow,
the area that I lived in was a very affluent area,
mhm,
and even though I'm a female, that really doesn't stop anything. Like I could just be running by somebody's house and some jittery ass white person could, you know what I'm saying? Like I just thought about
mhm,
a whole bunch of stuff. Like and I remember it paralyzed me for a while. Like I didn't run for a good 2 months.
wow,
Didn't run.
wow,
And even I'm part of a lot of running communities as well. A lot of my friends actually, yeah, this hit us hard, like the black running community, because a lot of us run at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, or
right.
late at night. We got a lot of night runners and stuff. Like, you ain't doing nothing but just getting in work exercise, and somebody's threatened by your presence. Like,
And you
I
have
think
the right. The thing
a lot
is
of
that
us
you.
black folks, we suffer from PTSD because we get trauma after trauma after trauma, and
I
it's
agree.
traumatizing to our spirit a lot of
Hmm.
times.
And it's
Um,
not only to as a collective and as a whole. I keep going back to our parents. These parents, me as a parent. You guys as parents, uncles and aunts. You don't you don't feel you feel a rock in your stomach when your child leaves the house because of the
amen.
actions and the audacity of white people. I don't need you to help me police my son. I don't need you to help me, question where he is, where he's been. I don't need y'all for that. Stay out of our business. Get away from our sons.
You know what
If
would
they're
solve
not
that?
physically doing anything to you, leave them alone.
You know what would solve this problem? Having our own neighborhoods and communities.
And policing them. I don't
And I'm
think
not,
that
I'm
there
not
should
talking
be
about
any white
what we
cops
have.
in neighborhoods that they don't live in, and they don't have a rapport or understanding of the neighborhood.
And I'm not.
If there's a gas station, let me say this: if there's a gas station, a corner store, a KFC, a Wendy's, a Checkers, different little restaurants around here. That white officer in my black neighborhood, predominantly black neighborhood, that white officer should know everybody in the neighborhood. They should know them. They should understand what's going on. They should know the kids that ride the bus stops. They should understand the kids that get out of school and get on the buses that are walking home. They should have a report. If you don't have that, why the fuck are you policing my kids? Because you're not going to treat them like you would treat them if you were in your neighborhoods. You're not going to have the same zeal and effect on our kids as you would your own. So get out of our neighborhoods. Go police your own neighborhoods. That's what I feel. I don't want white people in my neighborhoods policing my sons, my children. I don't want that.
Well, the only way you can change that is you got to have a community, and we don't
Yeah,
have communities.
Milwaukee is on it.
We
Milwaukee is on it.
we only have neighborhoods. We don't have communities.
Yeah,
because
Milwaukee
community is
they've
everybody
been very
collectively working together.
Milwaukee has been very vocal with the police department. My son Jordan, with the Black Panther and the Freedom Fighters, they've been very vocal and had started that before the pandemic, where they were going through the neighborhoods and they were policing the neighborhoods themselves, with their guns and everything. And the police left them alone for the most part. Because what they would do is they would walk home, the elderly, they would make sure that people got to where they were going without getting robbed or getting, somebody messing with them. And they policed their own neighborhoods, and the community loved it. They loved it. And this was just them, deciding that, the Black Panthers, the new Black Panther Party they started, and the freedom fighters that they started would be about policing our neighborhoods. We know these kids around here. We understand them. We speak their language. So let us talk to them. Y'all can't talk to our kids because y'all are fearing our kids. Ahmad looks like a danger to a white man. He looks like he's going to jump on his back and act like a monkey. That's what a white man looks at our black sons, and that's what they see. They don't see them as human. They don't see them as their own children. They don't see that, and we know they don't see that. So I implore you, if you're listening, then don't come to our neighborhoods. Stop acting like you know how to police us. You don't. And that's my final words.
Well, like I said, I don't talk to them because it's not about them, it's about us. What are we going to do? Because I'm not appealing to them for anything because I know who they are. It's like appealing to a snake not to bite you. Mm-hmm. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, I'm just letting the snake know.
What we need to do.
You can let the snake know you see him too.
What you need to do is stay the fuck away from him.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell the snake, oh, I know you're going to bite me. Stay the fuck away from the snake. And we got to gain control over our communities, not neighborhoods, communities, if we want to have all of those policies that you've mentioned, because nobody's going to do that except us.
Right.
No outside group is going to go, you know what, black folks, you're going through a whole lot. Let me make it better for you. They don't give a shit. Nor should they.
Not a damn.
Nor should they.
I sent you that.
What we should be asking is, who gives a shit in our community? Who's the leadership in our community that's trying to get black folks to do for self? Who's talking about all black people putting their money into one united bank?
Right.
A black bank.
Right.
Who's saying that?
I bank with One United.
Every black person's money should be in that bank.
Wow.
We should be telling, take all your money out of Chase, take it all out of Citibank, take it out of all of these other banks, and put it into One United Bank.
Right.
We too busy trying to stay accepted.
And that way, you have a say in how. And One United Bank got to step up to the plate.
People.
Yeah, they definitely got to step up.
They got to step up to the plate and make sure that they give it, providing quality customer service for all of that flux of income of cash that's coming in that they're going to benefit
Mhm.
from.
Right.
Yep.
So we all have a part to play. But I mean, it's a start, and nobody's
And
mentioned it. I ain't heard one talking head. I ain't heard of Steve Harvey or Wendy Williams. I ain't heard nobody saying that we need to put our money in black banks. Nobody, except Killer Mike is probably the only person I ever
yeah,
heard
but I
even
was about to say
raise the
him.
thing.
Yeah, and he got his own bank that he just started too. Like I'm on the
Yeah.
waiting list for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, he's
And
starting another.
I've
He's
supported I
yeah,
supported that 100,000% when he was talking about putting your money in one United Bank.
Right.
exactly. Yep, I said he was the first person I saw talking about it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to get the BAIO up
Yeah,
to a
stop
million
asking
people.
them for stuff. Stop trying to get asking them for stuff. Just take what the fuck is ours, man.
Yeah,
Create our
Mm-hmm.
Nika,
own shit.
Make sure you sign up because
I
your
am.
voice needs to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I've been trying
I'm
to
so
tell her.
passionate about this, man. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
over talking about it. Like, enough is enough. Me and my son, we have conversations about this all the time. I raise a militant child. He's like my little Stokely Carmichael. But he just, we have conversations about how this infrastructure had this whole system is set up to benefit for them and how we need to have our own. We talk about it all the time. We have our conversations about, just when I go to Africa, he's going with me. Like he's like, I'm buying me a tiny house, being next to you. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that's basically like we've had these conversations, and I love the fact that he's young. He's 19, and
Mm-hmm.
he already sees the bullshit.
Right.
He already sees it.
Mm-hmm.
I put the
And
link.
I will say
Put
this
it up there.
about him and his generation is that we need to stop dismissing this generation and actually listen to these kids
Yeah.
because they are looking back at us like, why the fuck are y'all allowing us to have to go through this shit? And I heard that directly from my kids. They're looking at us like, y'all could have done something. Why
Yeah.
are we still in the same
And
cycle
they
of
and they
bullshit
have the right to ask that question. And it's really sad that we don't have an answer to
that
give.
we don't have an answer for it?
Hmm. But I think, I will say this. I think we got too comfortable after,
Hell yeah. We like the
after the
amenities of
80s,
America.
the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s. We got very comfortable, white people. We partied
Yep.
with them, we played with them, we married them, we did everything with them.
Made babies with them.
Black men decided, they wanted children by black women decided they wanted children by them. We integrated very well. And here it is, what, 40 years later? 40, 50, I'm 50. So 50 years now, and it's still the same topics that Dr. James Baldwin and Nelson Mandela and Malcolm X were still dealing with the same subjects, same topics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Nick,
we
Our
we
kids.
failed a lot. We failed in a lot of things, but we
Yeah.
we
Our
got too
kids are looking
comfortable,
at us like that, man.
and
That
they should.
really hurt me. At the same time, it made me wake up a little bit
Hmm.
more because it's like, okay, we thinking, you know what I'm saying? We sitting here pointing fingers at this younger generation and everything. And nah, these kids got a lot to say, and they're seeing
Tanika, did she leave?
think she
Oh,
got cut off.
yeah, I think she maybe she'll come back in and finish her thought. But Marco, thank you so much, for opening this channel up for me to express, my thoughts and ideas. I'm glad you're joining me a lot more, because I like you as my co-host,
Hmm.
host, co-host, however way you want to put it. Um, but I understand that, again, that you have to work and everything, but it's more enriching to have differences of opinions, and people's opinions that you respect, that you listen to, and that have, even if they don't think like you do, it makes you, they have a way of making you think. And you guys do that for me. So I appreciate you, Andrea, Mari, Tanika, Andre, Mr. Muhammad, so if you guys are listening, thank you guys for showing up tonight and having this conversation. And I'm gonna let Tanika come back in so we can say good night.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, cut off there, huh?
Yeah, my battery went dead. I wasn't even
I
paying
know.
attention to
I'm
it.
actually
But
at 1% now, guys. So
right.
yeah, I'm trying to rush. I've been trying to hold this phone up and it is not charging as fast as, because the video takes more battery than normal.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna say good
Yeah, it's
night.
been a very good. Please send the link to me through to my email or to my, like, DM me the link that you're
Okay.
referring to, because I don't see what you guys are saying. And plus, I'm kind of high. Okay, no, not kind of. I am. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
I
yeah, send
will.
that link to me. I definitely want to be a part of it.
Okay.
It's been a
I'm
pleasure,
trying to
guys.
make sure I put
Have
it
a
up
good
there.
night.
You guys have a
Alrighty.
good night. Bye bye.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.
And